Hello again and welcome. This is Michael Pizzolla. Welcome to this Value Capping Rant. I'm going to talk with you today about the Derby preps for April 5th, 2014, the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct, and the Santa Anita Derby at, you guessed it, the Santa Anita. Also, I want to show you those two races and go over a couple of races that I bet just recently. I'm talking to you on Friday, April the 4th, 2014. And unfortunately, Santa Anita still doesn't have its morning line and saddlecloths and so forth posted for the big day tomorrow. But I've been asked, Michael, you pass a lot of these Derby preps. Well, yes, they're either very short and obvious horses, like we'll see in the two Derby preps today, or it's so full of unknowns. And I've been asked by more than one person to show some races that I actually would bet. And in fact, I'll show you a couple that I actually did bet, and you'll get the idea. By the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Pizzolla. I'm author of the best-selling book, Handicapping Magic, co-author of the classic Pace Makes the Race, creator of the original online racing forum. I'm currently the publisher of Post Time Daily 2.0 and Black Magic Ultimate Handicapping software. And that's the software I'm going to use today. I'm also very passionate about teaching about this wonderful game of ours. See, for me, anyone can pick a horse and look at a horse and all, but what I really am committed to doing is to sharing with you my analysis. And I promise, for those of you who think I go on and on, to be as brief as I can with covering the points. So let's go now over to the Black Magic Ultimate Handicapper software, and we will look at the Wood Memorial and the Santa Anita Derby. So here we are at the main screen for Black Magic Ultimate Handicapper. And I've got it open to Aqueduct Race 10 on April 5th, the Wood Memorial. You'll notice that there are two horses right at the top. The 11, Social Inclusion, and the 8, Samrat. Now, for those of you who have a good memory, in a previous value capping rant, we talked about Samrat, and in fact, when he ran in the Gotham, and in fact, he won the Gotham. It was no surprise. He wound up being the favorite in the race. Social Inclusion, I happened to be there on March 12th at the race book when this colt won its race at Gulfstream and just blew the field away, set a new track record. Now, boy, it was just an impressive performance. So those are your top two colts in this race, the 11 and the 8. What are you going to do? Both of these top colts look wonderful. Social Inclusion could be any kind of colt, could be a champion. Samrat, what do you say about a colt who's 5 for 5? I mean, just won a couple of grade 3s. You might say, oh, it's a state bred, but, that's hardly a knock. If I wanted to go a little deeper in the line, I might look for Harpoon to close a little bit into this pace. If I were to look at early, I still see Social Inclusion. Maybe the 3 is a long price. I see Samrat, maybe the 5 to be thrown in exotics, but I don't see any reason to bet against the 11 Social Inclusion and the 8 Samrat. Now, on these big days, and we're getting bigger and bigger, and as they go on, I like to look at the undercards. Here's a much more accessible race. This is the Carter Handicap, the very next race at Aqueduct on April 5th. I've only got 4 horses above the red line. The top horse is Strapping Groom, who just won the Tom Fool, and is listed at 4-1 in the morning line. And then the horse that just finished, actually it's a colt, finished 1 length behind, is listed at 12-1 in the morning line. Okay. And it's the fulcrum in the race. And if I were to look at my acupressure screen, Dad's Caps has got the lead at both calls. I'm done. This, if it goes anywhere near 12 to 1, as a matter of fact, I take this colt at 5 or 6 to 1. I should point out that in the Wood Memorial, Social Inclusion owns the first and second calls. So, and, Noble Moon should be behind him, and Los Barachos, Kid Cruz, and FNX should be closing into it. But again, I don't see much value. Now, you'll have to excuse me for the Santa Anita 8th, because to do this in time to get this done for you, I need to do this, kind of early. So for some reason, Santa Anita still doesn't have their morning lines up. So I'm going to take them out because they're all listed at 1 to 5. Here again, we see 3 colts above random. The top one is California Chrome, who has just blown away the last 3 fields, including the San Felipe. Opportunity just won the Rebel at Oaklawn Park. And, it did it in a very hard race, but still, 5 to 2 going to 3 to 1. I have a feeling these are going to be very well bet. Our contention line usually tracks the morning line. So I'm sorry, I really can't find a reason to bet these or bet against these, especially in the case of California Chrome. Now, for those of you who have asked me to show them some races that I won't pass, let me show you, please, a race from just yesterday, April the 3rd, 2014. And this was a race from Penn National. I bet this race in the afternoon and left it, and I was pleasantly surprised when I looked at the results. Very simply, this top horse, Quiros, is 5 to 2 on our odds line, morning line favorite, but it's been on a layoff. It's been on a layoff since December 21st. Then after that, I got a virtual tie, 7 to 2, 9 to 2, 5 to 1, 5 to 1. When I look, I know the 6 is going to be a price. I see it's 20 to 1 on my contention line, 10 to 1 on the morning line. I'm going to take a quick look and see what its past performances look like. Well, heck, it faltered in its last race, but it had a couple of seconds behind that. That doesn't look awful. And there's acupressure there, which has it leading in the first 2 calls. So I made a bet. And the results? Laughter Ever After, in fact, wired the field and paid $49.20 to win. And there was my little win bet ticket on this 6 horse in the Penn National 4th race on April 3rd, 2014. That's a nifty little, almost $750 for not much of a bet. If we want to gild the lily, we could say this, look at our primary pace. This is one of the top primary paces. The 7 horse has got a big lead in the late fraction, finished second. But with a $50 horse, you don't have to mess around too much. Just the day before that, 2 days ago, this past Wednesday, there was a pretty good race, an Aqueduct 8th race. Again, I've got 5 horses above the red line of random, 3 horses virtually tied at the top, 7 to 2, 4 to 1, 9 to 2. I thought the top horse had a hard race last time. The second horse started up, likes to finish second a lot, which left me with Little Miss Lupe. And gosh, doesn't look so bad. Just has been showing some early speed. Owns the acupressure at the first call. If I look, well, at that point, to be honest with you, I stopped looking. And, there are a lot of things not to like about uh, this filly. I mean, she comes from Finger Lakes. Those numbers are not often reliable and don't translate. But in this case, they did. And because I had Knox against Kilknock the 4, and the 2 started up, Little Miss Lupe wired the field and paid $121.50. Now, there's a lot more analysis I can do, and I'm going to save that for the Wizards Forum DVD for this month. But suffice it to say that this was a pretty easy call, a value horse that just jumped out. Once again, I had bet this in advance. Here's my bet from April 2nd, the 8th race at Aqueduct. This little win bet. Now I did cash this one. I haven't had time to cash the other one, but this little win bet brought back $1,822.50. $121 horses will do that. So, look, and I know $50 horses and $121 horses don't come along every day. It seems that way sometimes. This particular horse was one that one of the Wizards wrote in and said that it had snapped an offer streak that he had. Another Wizard wrote to me and said, I missed a horse at Mountaineer a couple of nights ago. I wasn't betting, but, it was so easy to find this $23 horse. And I wrote him back and said, well, there are plenty of these if you're willing to wait. And he wrote me back the afternoon of this race and said, well, that didn't take very long at all. I hit a $121 horse. And by the way, I hadn't seen the results yet. I just knew that I had bet a long price at Aqueduct, and I looked, and sure enough, there it was. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I've tried to keep this brief. I've tried to show you the big Derby preps, the Wood Memorial and the Santa Anita Derby for tomorrow, April 5th, 2014, and to show you a race that day, the Carter, that I might be interested in betting if there's a price on the 4, and also a couple of races that I actually did bet just recently, in the last day or two. So thanks so much for joining me, for giving me the opportunity to talk with you about this wonderful game of value investing at Thoroughbred Racing. Until next time, this is Michael Pizzolla saying be well, enjoy, and let the bet make you.